There's a very modern kind of exhaustion that feels strangely personal. You go to bed tired, but your mind refuses to settle. You wake up to an alarm, but your body feels like it never agreed to that deal. By afternoon, your energy crashes. Then somehow, late at night, when the day is finally over, your brain comes alive. And because this happens so often, most people land on the same conclusion. Maybe I have no discipline. Maybe I'm bad at sleep. Maybe this is just what adulthood feels like. But what if that explanation is too simple? What if the real problem isn't just that modern life makes us tired? What if modern life keeps telling the body the wrong time? The misunderstanding. Most people think the body clock is basically a sleep clock, a small system that tells you when to feel sleepy and when to wake up. But that's not really what it is. Your body clock is not just about sleep. It is a timing system. It helps coordinate when you feel alert, when your body temperature shifts, when hormones rise and fall, when appetite changes, when digestion works best, and when your body expects rest. So the real issue isn't just, am I getting enough sleep? It's also, is my body even living at the same time as my life? And once you see it that way, a lot of everyday struggles start making much more sense. Why tired doesn't mean just one thing. We usually talk about tiredness as if it's one signal, but it's not. There are actually two major forces shaping when you feel sleepy and when you feel awake. The first is sleep pressure. This is the simple part. The longer you stay awake, the more your body builds pressure for sleep. Hour after hour, that pressure rises. It's one reason why, after a long day, sleep starts to feel inevitable. But there's a second force working alongside it: circadian timing. This is your internal sense of biological time. It doesn't just ask how long you've been awake. It asks what part of the day your body believes it is in. And that means these two systems can agree. Or they can clash. You can be exhausted because you've been awake too long, but still feel oddly alert because your body clock hasn't fully shifted into night mode. Or you can get enough sleep on paper, yet wake up feeling terrible because your internal clock still thinks it's too early. This is why being tired can feel so confusing. Sometimes you're not dealing with one problem, you're dealing with two systems arguing. The clock in your brain. Deep in the brain, there is a small cluster of cells that acts like a master clock. Its job is not to create sleep out of nowhere. Its job is to keep time. One of its most important inputs is light. When light enters the eyes, it sends a message to the brain about whether it is day or night. That helps set the internal clock and coordinate the rhythms that follow. This is why light in the morning can help the body feel more awake, and why bright light at night can quietly confuse that system. Because biologically, light is not just something we see, it is information. It tells the brain whether to stay in day mode or begin shifting into night mode. That's also why melatonin is often misunderstood. People talk about melatonin like it's a sleeping pill made by the body. But melatonin is better understood as a darkness signal. It helps tell the body, night has begun. That is a very different role. It doesn't force sleep the way people often imagine. It helps signal the timing of sleep. And timing is the real theme here. The clocks, everywhere else. But the story gets even bigger. Because the body clock does not live only in the brain. Almost every major system in the body runs on timing. The liver keeps time. The gut keeps time. Hormones follow timing. Metabolism follows timing. Even things like body temperature and blood pressure shift across the day in patterned ways. A useful way to imagine this is as an orchestra. The brain's master clock is the conductor, but the rest of the body is full of instruments. If they stay in time together, the music works. If they drift apart, everything becomes less smooth, less stable, less efficient. And this is where modern life becomes a problem. Because modern life is full of signals that pull the body in different directions at once. How modern life confuses the clock. For most of human history, the body had a much cleaner relationship with time. Bright days, dark nights, more regular activity, more consistent meal timing, far fewer artificial signals after sunset. Modern life changed that. Now many people spend the brightest part of the day indoors, under relatively weak light, then surround themselves with bright screens, artificial lighting, work, stimulation, and social activity late into the evening. So from the body's point of view, the signals get messy. Daytime doesn't feel bright enough. Nighttime doesn't feel dark enough. And light is only part of the problem. Meal timing matters too. When you eat, your body treats that as information. It helps tell certain systems what time it is. So, irregular eating, very late meals, and shifting daily routines don't just change calories. They change timing signals. Then add caffeine, stress, inconsistent sleep, late night scrolling, work deadlines, social plans, weekend sleep-ins, early alarms, and suddenly the body is getting conflicting messages from every direction. Light says one thing, food says another, stress says another, your schedule says another. The result is not just tiredness, it's confusion. Living in 2 time zones. This is where a powerful idea comes in. A lot of people are not simply sleep deprived. They are misaligned. Their biological time and their social time are not the same thing. This is sometimes called social jet lag. Not because you got on a plane, but because your life can make you live as though you did. On workdays, you may wake earlier than your body wants. You push through the day on alarms, caffeine, obligation, and momentum. Then on weekends, your sleep shifts later. You wake more naturally. You feel a little more like yourself. That difference can feel harmless, even deserved. And in one sense, it is understandable. Your body may simply be catching up or drifting closer to its preferred rhythm. But it also reveals something important. Your body and your schedule may be living in different time zones. So when Monday arrives, the conflict returns. You haven't fully solved the problem. You've exposed it. The hidden cost. If all of this only made us feel sleepy, it would still matter. But the cost may run deeper than that. Because the body clock is tied to much more than alertness. It helps coordinate metabolism, hormone timing, cardiovascular function, and other systems that rely on predictable rhythms. When those rhythms are repeatedly pushed out of sync, the body doesn't just feel off. It often starts functioning less cleanly. This is one reason circadian disruption has become such an important scientific topic. Not because every late night is dangerous, not because one bad week destroys your health, but because repeated misalignment is not just psychological, it is biological. When the timing system is disturbed often enough, the effects can extend beyond mood and energy into the regulation of the body itself. That changes how we should think about the problem. This is not just about being lazy, undisciplined, or bad at mornings. It is about asking a highly organized biological system to ignore time. And the body is not built to do that gracefully. The real reframe. We usually think of time as something outside us. The clock on the wall, the calendar, the workday, the meeting, the deadline. But the body experiences time from the inside. It reads light. It reads darkness. It reads food. It reads activity. It reads rest. It reads regularity. And from all of that, it tries to answer one constant question. What part of the day am I in? When those signals line up, life feels smoother than we usually notice. When they don't, the body has to work harder just to create a normal day. That is why modern exhaustion can feel so strange. It is not always a lack of energy. Sometimes it is a lack of alignment. So maybe the most important shift is this. You are not just a person who needs sleep. You are a biological timing system, and modern life does not only steal our rest. Very often, it scrambles the signals that tell the body when rest, alertness, hunger, focus, and recovery are supposed to happen in the first place. Which means the problem is bigger than going to bed earlier. It is about time itself, not time on the clock, time inside the body. And once you understand that, the question changes. It's no longer just, why am I so tired? It becomes, what time does my body think I'm living in?